Hi guys, so welcome to Fimiesdessertsville YouTube channel. How are you all today? So I have been getting a lot of questions, regarding, facts about me and how I do some certain things. Okay, so I just decided to just compile just about 10 or less questions. So that I can answer them, generally now, so that whoever the question applies to would actually find an answer from it. So we'll just go right into it right now. So the first question I always get is, how do I combine baking and motherhood? It actually takes being very dogged and being very determined and focused. Trust me, I have my days that I feel very low and feel very uninterested, because trust me, how to be a full-time entrepreneur with being a mother is actually not an easy task. But when you have the right support system and you have mapped out the accurate or the adequate strategies at which you know how to balance out your timing and all of those things, it will get a lot easier than it would have been if you don't have your plans in place. For instance, now I have my time, like I work more like with a timetable. I know when it's time for me to stop work and attend to my kids. I know when school is in session. I know when I need to stop and pick them in school. I know when to drop them off. All of those things. I know time to set apart for my quiet time. I know time I need to set apart for my baking. And good thing I have extra hands to assist me with some things in business, like the baking aspect, despite the fact that I need to still oversee and supervise. But I don't need to necessarily do everything by myself 100%. So of course that makes the load lighter for me. So that is about working not too hard, but working smart. So now it depends on how you can actually multitask as well, and how you can actually get labor to lighten the burden for you. But invariably, if you are able to do that, it won't be, nothing good comes easy. Okay, nothing good comes easy. You need to figure out how to balance it out by yourself. But mapping out a strategy, having like a timetable and like a target or time frame to achieve certain tasks per day, makes it easier and makes it less cumbersome for me. Okay, so number 2 is, do you run internship programs? Well, as at now, I don't run internship programs, but in the past I've actually attempted to do that. But maybe due to bad experiences from people, that because how I've actually run my internship in the past is to actually just have free internship. I let you come, you don't get to pay. Okay, so I let you come. It's more like you sacrificing yourself, coming, and then I impacting you. But I noticed that over time a lot of people take that for granted, because how they say that knowledge not paid for, or anything basically not paid for, is actually not appreciated. So I got about a few lackadaisical attitude from some interns. So I just actually put everything off to do, because if I'm pouring into you and you are not actually giving me the vibe, the energy, the ginger that I need to see in you for me to be ginger to even teach you, there's no point really. But in the nearest future, I'm going to be revisiting that, but this time around it's going to be a paid internship program, definitely, because I need everybody that wants to come up or come around for this to actually know it's something valuable and put their mind to it. Because definitely when you pay for something, they say what your money is, your heart is. So when it's paid, even if it's not for so much money, you need to drop something. All right, and that's it about the internship. So number 3 question is, how do you combine? Number 3 question is, why do I use only evaporated milk instead of full cream milk? Okay, that question is not a baking related question. Okay, the reason why I use strictly evaporated milk for all of my recipes that require any kind of milk, except for the coconut cake that requires coconut milk, is because evaporated milk is a long shelf life milk. Note that, you can pin that. Okay, it is a long shelf life milk, and you know how it is that the ingredients you put in your cake or your baked product reflects in the results at the end of the day. So if you use something that is stale, your cake will actually taste stale. Do you get drift? So that is about it. So because it's a long shelf life milk, number 1, you need to know that one of the downsides of using evaporated milk is it is more pricey, because it's more expensive to source. Okay, so anybody using that kind of milk should be ready to charge a ton higher than the regular charges out there. So for me, I use it because it gives me peace of mind knowing that when I bake up a cake and the client wants to have the cake for as much as 2 weeks, I'm very sure that I wouldn't be getting reports or feedbacks that that subsists around the cake getting bad or getting spoiled. So the summary of this is evaporated milk has a long shelf life. Okay, full cream kind of milk don't have long shelf life. They actually have like a 3 days lifespan. That's why some cakes actually run, you say, okay, consume within 3 days. I don't have cakes that have such a very stiff timing because of the presence of the evaporated milk, which is the long shelf life. For the question is, what is crumb coating, and then is it really compulsory to crumb coat your cakes? So the first question is, crumb coating is actually the technique of actually using a thin layer of cream after you fill up your cakes. You layer them up. The stage whereby you decide to trim up your cakes or whatever, but that invariable point where you need to use a light cream layer to seal up the initial crumbs around your cake to actually reduce or almost get rid of all of the crumbs that would actually appear on the final coating. So from that explanation, you see that for cakes, especially cream cakes, you need to crumb coat your cakes. Number one, if you don't want to use too much dollop of cream around the sides of your cakes, because some people might want to like slap on so much cream just so that they can go right into the business of the decoration. But let me tell you something about whipped cream cakes and even buttercream cakes. Really, you need to be patient, you need to follow due process so that you can get a good result at the end of the day. And the first thing is just like the foundation, all right? You can't rush it. You need to seal up the crumbs of your cake with the cream, pop it into the freezer, especially for modified buttercream recipes as well as whipped cream recipes, so that by the time you want to cover the cake a second time or third time, as the case may be, it will be easy peasy for you and you get a flawless finish. So you need to seal up your cakes with the crumbs using the cream. So for me, I never skip that stage in my decoration. So the next thing is, how do you determine the quantity of cream used on a cake from start to finish? Now this is about experience, but I'll just give you a little guideline. Okay, so for instance, now the factors you need to consider in determining the quantity of cream you're going to be using in a cake is, number one, the height of the cake, the number of layers, if the cake is going to have fillings, alright, and if the cake is going to be piped around the border, top and bottom. Now that said, if for instance your 8 inches cake, you want to whip up like 300 grams of whipped cream, now you need to know point blank that is going to actually help you to layer up the cakes using cake fillings. Note that when you work with cake fillings, you need to use up more cream because you need to seal up the edges and add some on the surface of the cream so that it can hold up the fillings in place, and then you don't record any cake accidents as much as possible whilst the cake will be sliding off in transit or anything. So that's about the filling. So you know that for cakes that come with filling, you are going to be needing more cream, so you need to factor that in. And then we now go ahead to talk about how much cream you're going to put around the sides, and if your cake is going to have piping on the top border and on the bottom border. If it is going to have that, you're going to have to increase the quantity of your cream, even if it is by 50 grams or by 100 grams, so that you don't get stuck halfway and start running helter-skelter trying to whip up more. So let me just tell you, for me now, basically, maybe the guide will work for you. For my standard 3 layers 8 inches, I whip up 300 grams, and that 300 grams actually helps me to sandwich in between the layers, add fillings, cover up the second time, that's in the crumb coat, and the second time, and then I pipe on the top, because typically for my designs I rarely pipe on the bottom side. Alright, so if you're someone that likes to pipe on both sides, you might want to increase your cream to 400 grams. I'm sure you get the drill. So if you're working with like 4 layers, you need to increase to 500 grams, but the benchmark is usually 300 grams for me. So I hope this works for you guys. So that's what it is. So it depends on how much you can actually conserve your cream as well and manage it properly, accurately. So the next question is, when do I drop new videos? Initially when I started, I was actually just dropping it without any single pattern, but I just thought to make it very definite and very, very, I don't know, like you know, that kind of thing. Like, so I've actually decided that I'll be dropping videos only on Fridays, weekly, once a week, Fridays. So it could be any kind of video, it could be a recipe, it could be a TED talk, it could be a tip class, it could be anything, okay? But I mean, I'd make sure that every single Friday in the week I'll drop something new for you guys to learn from, right? Okay, and then the next question is, do I offer private consultations? Yes, I actually do offer private consultations. I started a while back. When I talk about private consultation, I talk about mentoring sessions, because a lot of people come to me and ask me if I can be their mentors. Now, me being your mentor, I can actually just inspire, okay, out there. But for you to, if you come to me and ask me some certain questions and you need me to, you know, give you professional answers, like if we were seated face to face, like a professional kind of consultation, the way a doctor will consult, a lawyer will consult, that kind of thing. So I just charge a little token. It's just $50, all right? So, and it's per month, and if you want to do that, you be entitled to a session per week, all right? So that's about 4 sessions in an entire month. So you can always reach out to me for more information about that. So I do that here. And then another question that I don't even know how to answer is how some people ask me how much I charge for my cakes. Now, good cakes are not cheap. Cheap cakes are not good. Trust me. I think that summarizes it, because trust me, I'm not telling you that I cut off people's heads, okay? But it's premium standard, and I have a limit I can charge, which is 18,000 naira in Nigerian currency. So that's what I charge, because if I have to factor in how much fillings I'm going to be putting, the cost of whipped cream out there. So now I'm not telling you to charge whatever it is. You can charge whatever you feel comfortable charging, not to slap on too high prices, or not to shoot yourself in the leg charging too low. You need to factor in the quality of ingredients you're going to put in your cake. That's for the baking aspect. You need to factor in your gas. Then you need to factor in the manpower. You need to factor in the kind of design. Is it going to have real chocolate or fake, you know, or plastic unedible stuff? Is it going to have fillings? Is it going to have drips? You know, all of those things need to be factored in by you and your locality and location. It will have varying prices for you to source them in different locations. You can just actually use somebody else's price list as a guideline, or you really cannot stick to it by the nitty-gritty, because we all have different factors that would use to cost our cakes, and these are about kind of these are the factors that I always consider before costing each cake that leaves my bakery. So I think that's going to be all for today. That is actually going to be all for today. I don't want to take too much of our time. If you have any more questions, as always, you can always drop it. I will still have something like this in the nearest future. Maybe if I get more questions that I haven't attended to today, I will come up again and just explain to the very best of my knowledge, so that for those that are asking, to avoid me delaying your answers, you can always come back and watch this. So if I've answered your questions, you can give me a thumbs up, but if you still think I need to still answer some more questions, you can drop it in the comment box. I'll attend to it as fast as I see them and as quickly as possible. So till next time, guys, we're not learning baking today, we're just talking, alright? We're just gisting. So I remain your favorite girl as always, Fimiesdessertsville. I'd always urge you, as always, I'd always drop this as a final note for you to always remember to click on the like button, give me a thumbs up, drop your comments and your feedbacks, your reviews. If you're enjoying this channel, if you enjoy to be here, tell your friends, tell your family, share the news, spread the love, and let's stay closely together in togetherness and in learning. All right, so I remain your favorite girl as always, Fimiesdessertsville. Bye.